How's it going, everyone? Welcome. Thank you so much for listening and watching. In today's workshop series, I wanted to cover Parsva Bakasana, or side crow. And this is an arm balance, and it's a twisting arm balance, so it's going to require some strength, and it's going to require some flexibility and fluidity in the hips as we go into the twist. So we're going to start with a couple of poses that will help you get warmed up and into the general vibe and form of the pose. Let's start in downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, just give a few moments to kind of stretch out, open it up. We're going to start with the lunge. Step your right foot forward, place your left knee on the ground, come onto fingertips. And then come onto fingertips, you check the distance of the legs, make sure they're hip distance apart. You hear that a lot in yoga class. It just means the ankle in line with the hip joint. Rise, bring your hands to your hips. You'll probably feel that back thigh starting to stretch and open. Bring your hands to prayer pose, and we're going to take a twist. Left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. When you take the twist, keep your arms active and open the chest. So bring your forearms more vertical to the floor. And this is the twist that we're going to need for Parsva Bakasana. So you want to give it a little bit of time to open. If you haven't practiced or warmed up until this point, you want a little bit more time. No problem. If you've already been warming up a little bit, you can spend 45 seconds to a minute in this pose. You can stay here, stage 2, get a little bit stronger, deeper opening faster, lift the back knee off the floor. Yeah, I can feel my hips really starting to open up, get me deeper into this twist. Take a couple of rounds of breath here, a few rounds of breath. Good. Good, come back to center. Step it back, downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. Step your left foot forward. Place your right knee on the ground. Rise, bring your hands to your hips. Okay. Keep the upper body lifted, strong. Bring the hands to prayer pose. And then we take the twist, other side. Right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. And you just settle in here, and again, using the power of your arms and legs to get the heart space open. Take a few rounds of breath here. No need to rush it. If you need extra time, you can pause the video and settle in. If you don't, then just fast forward. But then I might say something important and you're going to miss it. So don't fast forward. Just stay with me. Press to the back foot. Lift the back knee off the ground. Again, this is stage 2. If this is intense, keep the back knee on the floor. It's no problem, but keep your feet active. Couple of rounds of breath here. Cool. And then come to your hands and your knees. Okay. So I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to explain it to you. So we're going to come into a squatting position and feet and knees together. And if this is really hard for you to balance, you can put a block or something under your heels to kind of settle in. Okay, so when we go into this pose, we want to center the heaviest part of the body in the middle of our foundational base, okay? So when we go into the twist and I place my hands on the ground, the hands are still shoulder distance apart, and I want to place the heaviest part of my hips, of the pose of my body, which is the hips. The greater trochanter is this kind of ball part of your hip. I want that in the center of my hands, which means once I take the twist, this right hand has to go a little bit further. Still shoulder width apart, but I want to space it out so the hip is in the middle of the position of the hands. Then my legs stay together. The thighs are on the upper part of the left tricep. And then I'm just going to keep the form and lean forward as if I was doing chaturanga, and the feet will come off the ground on their own. Good. And come back down. Okay, I'll do the other side, just so that you can see that I can do 2 sides. Okay, same setup. So I have a little marker on my mat. This marks the center of the mat. So I'm just going to line my hip, the center of my hip, with that line. When I take the twist and place my hands on the floor, and my hands will frame that mark. Okay, knees together, legs strong, And then I keep the form, and I just hinge forward. Legs will come off the ground on their own. Hold it for a few rounds of breath, and release. And voila, that's it. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight as to how to lead up to Parsva Bakasana and also how to get into it. If you're struggling to get into the pose with that arm that is with not resting on both elbows, just give it some time. Keep working on it. It's going to come. But if you depend on that elbow to collapse into, you won't build the strength. It'll take you a long time. So you have all the time in the world, and I wish you the best. Have an amazing day, a beautiful week. I hope this helps you. Lots of love, and thank you so much for listening and watching. Live your truth. Namaste.